Hi everyone and welcome to CraftStash. Today I'm going to be showing you how to use this one die in 3 different ways. Now this die comes from the new Card Making Magic's Celtic Dreams collection. It's absolutely stunning. I'm going to be using the Tree of Life die, but this can apply to lots of different dies that you'll have in your stash when you start thinking outside the box. Now as always, the link to the products is down below in the description and we'd love it if you could give us a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't done already. Okay, let's get into the first of these 3 tutorials. Now the first of these is going to be the simplest and the quickest card you'll probably ever make. This can be done and actually made even quicker with pattern paper if you prefer, but I'm going to make my own background using my Distress Oxide. So I've chosen to go with Seedless Preserves, Dusty Concord and Salty Ocean. So kind of a pink, a purple and a blue. Now I'm going to go onto a craft mat. These craft mats can be found at CraftStash. They are the A4 and 6x6 set of 2 craft mats. They are absolutely perfect for blending on so I don't get my mat dirty. I want to still be able to see my grid. Now as I say, I'm going to be using the Tree of Life. So what I've done is I've actually cut the circle that comes with this. The tree is here, it's one large die, but you do have this outer circle that fits perfectly around it. So I've cut that and I've actually cut it from watercolour cardstock rather than stamping or ink blending cardstock. And this is because I'm going to add quite a bit of water to this to get a really fun effect. So I want the cardstock to be able to really hold that water. Then I'm just going to go in with some sort of just spots of colour in random places. I really like the pink. The pink is one of my favourite colours, the Seedless Preserves, so I'm putting quite a bit of this down first. Then I'm going to go in with the total opposite colour, so that's the blue. So the purple sits between the pink and the blue. So I've chosen the 2 opposite colours and then I'll fill in the gaps with the purple afterwards. Now I'm happy with the coverage from the 3 colours. Like I say, no blending there, everything's just popped down. Now I'm not even going to clean my mat, I'm just going to spritz water all over the surface of this, and I'm going to be quite heavy with the application to allow those colours to just move about a little. Now this is really the easiest part. We're just going to let that sit and air dry. Now as you can see with oxides, the colour will tone down quite a lot. The cloudiness will appear because of that oxidization that happens with the oxide inks. But I did put a piece of kitchen towel underneath because as it dried there was some bowing of the paper, which is normal, and some of the ink rubbed off, or rolled off rather. So I just popped that underneath just to capture that loose ink. Then I've die cut the tree from black, and that's going to sit over this gorgeous background. It's almost like a galaxy background, and that is one of the simplest card fronts you will probably ever make. So I'll glue this on and then we'll make this into a card base. Okay, so now using this die again, I have cut myself a second circle. With this circle I'm going to just score it in half, or you can just fold by hand. You can use a scoreboard if you prefer. I'm going to use my bone folder to make that a really nice sharp crease. Apply glue to one of the outer halves of this circle. I'm using the same bookbinding glue again, and then I'm going to use my grid actually just to make sure this stays level, and then place my circle over the top, just on that bottom half there, making sure that's nice and straight. And then you've created a card base, but this is a rocker card, so this will now, as and when you want, it will just rock side to side gently, which is really good fun. It will eventually just settle in the middle there. You pop yourself a sentiment on there, and that is such a quick and fun card. Okay, so there's one. Let's move on to card number 2. This shaker card is another really easy card to put together. You just need to have some acetate and some foam tape. They are absolutely essential. But this tree with the shaker behind it looks stunning. So I'm going to show you a really nice, easy, simple shaker card that you can do at home. But have a look at the dies that you've got in your stash. I think you've probably got lots more that would look beautiful with shaker behind it. Okay, so I've cut myself a circle into blue cardstock using that large circle die again, and I've trimmed out the edge, so this is going to fit nicely on my 7 by 7 inch card base there. I've then also taken a piece of acetate, trimmed that down so that's just going to fit perfectly behind. And I'm actually going to use the same bookbinding glue again to adhere my acetate. Now I know a lot of people aren't so sure about using bookbinding glue, or rather a wet glue with acetate. You don't have to, you can use red liner tape, double-sided tape, but this just works for me and it's nice and quick and easy. I always have it to hand. I find it much quicker than using a tape. So I see no reason not to use it. It actually holds beautifully. It does take a little bit longer to dry, but not a huge amount. By the time you've constructed your card, done the decoration, it's usually holding pretty well. So I do just squish that glue in, make sure it's all pressed into the cardstock there and the acetate, making sure there's nothing left as a big lump or line of glue there. So I've got myself some foam tape here. Now this is essential if you're doing a shaker. You can't do a shaker without foam because you need the depth for the shaker elements, and I've got some little like star sequins here that I'm going to use. So you need the depth for those to be able to move around. Now it's really important that your foam goes all the way to the edges, and where the foam meets, where it joins, there are absolutely no gaps. So I'm going to first of all go all the way around the very edge of my card, making sure, as I say, where the corners join, there's no gap at all. And then to ensure my shaker elements and my sequins don't get lost in the bottom corners, I'm going to just decide which is the bottom. It doesn't matter, it's fairly central. I'm going to add 2 more pieces of foam diagonals across these corners. So I'm going to lay them at the moment over the original foam, then take a pair of scissors and just snip down the sides so that they fit quite nicely against the square foam or the edges there. So again, just slotting my scissors in underneath the foam there, pull that corner out, and then just place the foam down there. And then there's a blank corner where the sequins aren't going to reach, and you don't even have to take the tape off of this, but you can leave that bit on because it's essentially these edges that are going to hold the frame or the shaker part to the card base. Now you've already got the right angle, just cut there, so that's perfect. And then we'll just do this once more without taking it off the roll. And there's my second corner. So just ensure that those corners are the ones that are going to be down the bottom. With a shaker card, I tend to like to use it as a tent fold. I don't really see any reason for that. I think that is just a habit of mine. And put my shakers in. So these are my little sequins. They could be gems, pearls, little die cut pieces. This would look really cool as a winter tree with snowflakes coming down behind it. It would look really, really lovely as an autumn tree with gold, brown, red leaves look like they're falling behind. You could die cut or punch some of those, or even hand cut some small leaves. So there's lots and lots of different things you can be doing with this one shape. So I'm going to put all of these lovely little stars in here and make sure they are central to the panel, but flatten them out as much as possible so that they are not kind of in a big clump when I put my acetate down, and they're able to move around quite freely. And then with my acetate frame, I'm going to make sure those filled in corners are at the base there. There's another stray star. There's quite a few stray stars actually that I've got on my fingers and such, but we'll do the best we can. And we're going to place this over the top. You will often get some static and they'll jump up onto the acetate, but that's fine. There we go. Okay, make sure those edges are all placed down, and then give that a good shake. Make sure everything can move around nicely. Okay, beautiful. Now I'm going to be putting my tree on the top there. I wanted to colour it though, so I'm going to bring back my blending mat. And as you can see here, I've got some brown ink. I'm just going to go into the trunk of the tree and into some of those branches, just a little bit. Not too much with the blending ink, leaving all the leaves nice and green. And I'm not worried about the roots because I'm actually going to cover the roots up. So I've got a piece of darker green cardstock here just for a bit of difference, and I'm going to tear this to give it a rough organic edge. Then I'm going to adhere it over the roots of the tree like so. So a little bit of glue where I feel I need it on these roots. And to place my, let's call it the grass, over the top there. And then I'm going to use my circular die, place it over the tree there, making sure that tree is nice and central. So I think I'd be happy with it just like that. And then take a little bit of low tack tape, and I tend to use the CraftStash, or rather Creative Craft Products, which is a CraftStash exclusive brand, and just take this die down there. And I'm going to die cut that out. As you can see, that has now cut out the grass section of your design. So that covers up those roots. If you don't want the roots, of course, if you do want to keep them, that's absolutely and entirely up to you. But that fits now really nicely in that circle there. You've got the shakers behind it. So all we need to do is glue the tree in place. Again, I'm going to use the bookbinding glue on the paper to adhere to the acetate. So there's a shaker card with that beautiful tree. This would look really gorgeous as well if it was black behind it, so that these look like stars in the background. There's lots of different designs you can do. As I've already mentioned, snowflakes coming down for a Christmas kind of themed tree, an autumnal one as well. So you really decide on the colours and the design there. So there's two so far. We've got one more to do, and this is going to be a really fun interactive type card. So this time we're going to take two card bases. These are 6" by 6" bases. I've die cut the tree from a nice bright green cardstock. We will be colouring that in a little while, but let's create this base. So the reason we need two is because we're going to actually glue these together. So I've taken one and folded it in half. I'm going to do exactly the same with this one. So I'm just going to use the scallops as a guide. And I've got 2.5 scallops there, so I'm going to fold back on that mark, and I've done exactly the same on this one too. So fold this back on itself, just strengthen that crease there with my bone folder, so you should have something that looks like this. Okay, so what I'm now going to do is cut down the excess off the edge of each of these. Just be really careful when you do this that you're not cutting that score line. Okay, so now we've got two card bases with like almost little easels there. Now, two things you could do. You could create this into an actual easel. You'd need to put a stand on the back. Your tree could sit on the front here with the roots on the base and stand away like so, which would be nice. But we're going to do kind of similar to that. I'm going to ink the tree up first because it's much easier to do this first than it is to try and do it in a moment. So in the same way as I did on the previous one, I'm just going to add my brown distress ink. I'm going to do it over the roots as well, and I'm going to repeat that on the other side as well. Now I'm going to adhere the roots of this tree. So just take a look and see on your card. It doesn't have to be scalloped edge, just make sure these tabs are the same on both cards. But I'm just going to take the roots and just do a rough line just below where that fold line is and glue all of this underneath. I'm going to place this onto that scored part there, and then I'm going to apply glue all the way over, including over the roots and the base, and then press this one over the top. So that should all line up because I've got exactly the same size on both sides. So press that down. We can just lift this over and make sure that that has captured that tree in the middle. Now turn your card over and you should have something that looks like this underneath, and you want to adhere this all together so it's all one panel. Go on to one and then the other two. Now when you open your card, your tree should stand up like so in the centre. So just ensure these are fully dry before you do too much of the moving around, and then you're free to decorate the rest of your card however you wish. How fun is that? It sits perfectly inside the card, so it's a bit of a pop-up surprise inside. So that's 3 different ways: a pop-up, a silhouette and a shaker. 3 different ways of using just one die set, the Card Making Magic Tree of Life. You can see the rest of this gorgeous Celtic Dreams collection available at CraftStash. We'll make sure that's linked here and in the description below for you. If you enjoy videos like this, please do subscribe to the CraftStash YouTube channel, and we think you'll also really like this video just here. Take care everybody, and I'll see you again very soon.